We go through this every year. You know perfectly well what holiday it is.
Okay. Happy Halloween, everybody. Whoopee.
Row 18, plot 20.
Hey everybody, welcome to Halloween Shenanigans 2023. Now it's dark. Just watched a movie called It Shall Not Be Named. This was 1 hour and 24 minutes. It's got a very, very low 2.8 star rating on IMDb, but it only has 40 reviews. I do think 2.8 is a little low for this movie. It's a horror thriller. It's based around some witchcraft and kind of also plays a little bit on the trope of new roommate maybe hiding some secrets. And so the very short synopsis is, after experiencing ominous paranormal events, an estranged couple finds out that their new roommate is a witch with a sinister agenda. And that's from IMDb. And those synopses are written by the people involved with promoting the movie. But that is not accurate. The estranged couple part is, but they are not roommates. They are not living together. It doesn't take anything away from the movie. This was directed by Kankat Vatanadrin, written by Kankat and Emmanuel Sandoval. Very, very small cast. Skylar Witt is Kat, Luke Messner is Chris, and Audrey Lilyquist is Jesse, sort of. I will keep this spoiler free. I did watch this on Prime Video. I think it was like a 99-cent rental. It starts off right away with a little bit of actioning, a little bit of an action scene, and then it opens into a cool montage with different imagery from like witchcraft, witch trials, and then it kind of turns into symbols and ruins, and it's kind of a neat, digital montage that should have been foreshadow for me, because I didn't hate this movie, but it definitely played on a lot of my pet peeves of low budget movies. The concept is easy for this. The plot devices are easy. You have a roommate, or you have a person, Kat, who lives in an apartment and seemingly doesn't work, but puts an ad in the paper for a roommate. Has a boyfriend, Chris. They kind of bicker a little bit back and forth about him moving in or them living together. And that's when Kat tells him that she had an ad for a roommate, and he was surprised by that. And like literally the scene transitions to Jesse, the new roommate, moving in. Like there was no interview process or anything else. I think there should have been some little story in there, because a lot of the middle throughout the end of this movie was wasted with several musical montage of driving sequences or whatever, like 3 or 4 of them full-length songs. So, you do the math on that. If a song is averaging 3.5 minutes long, and we do that 4 times in a movie, you've wasted a good, 16 minutes almost of other story that really could have been put in there. Like, we could have had a montage of Kat interviewing different people to become her roommate. But, the story was written in that Kat was just, I guess, eager to get a roommate and didn't do any background check, didn't do any interviews. She just let Jesse move in because she was the first person that answered the ad. Also, the story does a weird thing that was, in my opinion, not necessary, where we open, after that opening credits scene, we are told that it is 3 days ago, and we start the story. And the 3 days ago is the first 46 minutes of the movie. So by the time 46 minutes hits, you kind of have forgotten that this was a 3 day ago thing, because several days, 3 in fact, go by to bring us to present day. And so then we're all of a sudden reminded, now it's present day. But there's no reason for it to have been a story that started 3 days ago. Like, literally, the story could have just started. I don't know why there was a time sequence needed like that. Another pet peeve of mine about low-budgety movies is the usage of the stock footage of a full moon at night to transition scenes to let us as the viewer know that, okay, now it's nighttime. We see a character sleeping, so that didn't indicate that it must be nighttime. We had to see the moon in the sky with the dark sky to let us know that it was nighttime. That is done 4 times. The 4th one actually makes sense because it wasn't the typical moon transition, and it was actually relevant to what was going on in the story. So I'm only going to say 3 times were unnecessary. A lot of times the scenes can just transition. You don't need that moon thing. And I blame Friday the 13th for that, because they did it in the first Friday the 13th movie. And that's where it does actually work. But in any film that I've seen afterwards, and it's always low-budget indie films that do it. Aside from that, the acting is okay. It's only the cast of 3. There is a 4th credit for Jeff Hopkins as a news anchor. There's also a scene where Kat calls into a radio program that's on the television. And at first I thought that was just a weird thing, but it ended up giving some more background into the story and how Kat can deal with it. So basically, after Jesse moves in, Kat starts getting weirded out by, as the description, paranormal events, but it's really just sounds and hearing Jesse speaking gibberish in her little bedroom and whatnot. So Kat keeps complaining to Chris about this. When Jesse's out, who's a realtor, they decide to just go through the bedroom that Jesse is staying in, and they find all sorts of witchcrafty stuff. So that even sets Kat off into another realm of paranoia. She then begins having like pretty intense dreams and sequences of imagery and thoughts of Chris doing naughty things with Jesse. Then that, like, we get all that, and then it turns into like MTV really bad music video situation. Like, we get into one of the musical montages of the driving sequence, and it literally transitions right into another musical montage that in some ways makes sense because it was more of Kat doing some of the things that were suggested that she do by the television/radio host in preparation for protection of herself. So there's a lot of cool like witchcrafty stuff if you're into witchcraft or you've done witchcraft. or you have your own grimoire. All stuff that I do. So I'm drawn to witchcraft stories. This one's kind of cool. It does have some relevant things, like Jessie smudges the apartment when she moves in with Sage, and the one thing that was a little weird was the boyfriend had like an unusual knowledge of witchcraft, and they do describe a few things a little off, but it's pretty good, pretty accurate if you're a fan of the history of witches and things like that. And it does get good for a few minutes, like in the third act, things are kind of amped up a little bit, the tension, Kat's kind of ready. It goes to present day, and it gets a little bit suspenseful for like a very brief second, and then literally my jaw dropped because they went into another musical montage. I was just shocked. They try to throw a curveball with a twisty end. When Kat finds, I'm kind of talking a little out of order before that third montage. Kat does find out some information about Jessie. This all had to do, by the way, with the Black Witch and this demon that you were not supposed to say the name of, or it would come after you with a gruesome, horrific death.
Say my name.
If you said the demon's name. But kind of a letdown ending, it felt like rushed. And again, like I said, probably a good 3 of those musical montages could have been left out. And the story would have flowed a little better, at least for me. They could have interjected a little bit more at the beginning to keep things interesting. I think when people watch this, you're going to drift in and out of your interest level. But, I mean, if you like witchcraft movies, there's some cool scenes with Jessie doing witchcraft rituals and spells. Those are fun to watch. There's just not enough of them, and they come too late into the movie. But yeah, that's going to do it for my review of It Shall Not Be Named. I'm not 100% hating this movie, but it's probably pretty close. Shitty way to end the Halloween shenanigans. Now it's dark. Happy Halloween, everyone. Let me know in the comments down below what movies about witchcraft are your favorites.